Bonjour, my name is Rodger, and I'm a member of the Bonjour Brigitte conversational French group Conversation Cafe. I believe that the vocabulary and grammar of a language can be learned from a book, but to gain confidence in speaking and to experience the language, you must vocalize and hear yourself and others speak. I believe that this is more effectively accomplished in a group setting with an instructor that is open, approachable, amiable, accepting of mistakes, and knowledgeable. I have compiled these attributes into a mnemonic acronym, ASK, triple ASK, which stands for available, approachable, amiable, social, and knowledgeable. I believe these to be the attributes of the instructor and the group at Bonjour Brigitte. If you're interested in learning or improving your French, this is a great opportunity. Au revoir. I like your personality, and I think your personality lends itself to teaching people because people are sometimes insecure when learning a language. They don't feel like they're actually speaking it well, and they know they speak well in their own language, but you help them establish a climate that says it's okay to make mistakes and learn from them. And I think that's very important in learning anything, that the person you're talking to not only knows what they're talking about, but is encouraging and helps you to go past your mistakes. It's a wonderful thing and it works.
Excellent. Roger, that was wonderful. Merci beaucoup. And Roger, you're an amazing student. We absolutely love having you, and your conversational French is wonderful. So, Roger, for those people out there, tell us more about yourself. Where you're from, what made you
Right.
excited about French.
I am from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I spent my whole life avoiding France because I had heard some negative things from people I thought knew what they were talking about. And they said to me several times, I remember, the French are arrogant and the French don't like Americans. That's what they said. So I thought to my wife at the time was in school in a culinary arts program, and she got an internship to France. So she went to France for 3 months to work at a restaurant, and it was a pretty good restaurant. And at the end of her 3 month time, I thought, well, I don't really like France. As a matter of fact, I had been to Europe several times, and each time, instead of going from England into France, I would take the ferry from England into Belgium and bypass France. We were going to Germany and things further east. I would bypass France. This time, I didn't. And I met my wife in France, and I had, from the very beginning, the best time I've ever had anywhere. And one of my experiences was on the airplane, a young French guy who was talking to a young American person, kid. And every time I looked that way, it was a big body airplane, but every time I looked that way, I could see him turn away, like he had been looking at me, but when I turned to look, he'd look away. So I thought, oh, this is what my friends are talking about. This guy is going to be a problem for me. Okay, I'm going to wait and see. So now I'm all primed because I've been told that there's a problem, and I now have made a problem where there is none. And when I got off the plane, this guy, who apparently was interested in me for whatever reason, he walked over to me, and I said, okay, here it comes. He walked over to me and he said, pardon me, you look like you're trying to find your luggage. Can I help you? I'll help. I know that. And he helped me get my luggage and he helped me to whatever. And I thought, whoa, that is not at all what I expected. And from that point on, everybody I met in France was like that in some fashion.
Wow.
I came back and I told my friends, I stayed there for 3 weeks. I came back, I told my friends, listen, what you said about the French, have you ever been to France? And they said, no. So what are you talking about? But that was my experience.
Wow. So you had the best time there.
Best time of my life. And I've had a lot of good times.
What? And then you learned French there. So this was when you were younger.
No, my first time in France, I was 64.
What?
Yes. And I went, so I did what we did. And later on, I thought, well, I like this so much. Now I'm going to try to learn French. But I know learning a language at a later age is not as easy as it is when you're young because your tongue and your thoughts and as everything is sort of set in a pattern that you have to change. And so what I did was I went to an immersion school in France. And while I was there, I was great. Of
Oh,
course, coming back home, it all sort of faded away again. But when I was there, I felt fine. But that's been my experience, and I've just loved it. I can't explain how much I like France.
wow. Jose, since then, have you been back? Do you plan to go back?
Well, for starting when I was 64,
Yes.
every year for 4 years,
Yes.
I went for 2 months.
Oh, yes, I remember you said that.
Yeah. But then they changed the euro came in and changed the franc, and that killed everything for me because the expense was too much for 2 months. I used to spend the first month down in the south at a place called Villefranche-sur-Mer.
Oui,
It's off of Nice and Cannes.
oui.
I used to spend a month there and go to school, and then I would take the second month, take the fast train to Paris, and spend the second month in Paris, and then come home and wait for the next year.
Wow, Jose, your passion for Francais is amazing.
It was at the time, and it's sort of dimming a little bit now, but I thought I might even move there at one time. But
Well, you can go back and visit Roger. Do you want to go soon this year,
I,
maybe for the Olympics?
I was thinking about the Olympics, but not really. I like it when it's I think when the Olympics is there, it's going to be full of a lot of people that I see anyhow.
Mm,
You know, I want to go with it's mostly the French. You know.
yeah. Fair enough. Well, that is wonderful, Jose. So you joined the Bonjour Brigitte program because you wanted to, revive your French because being back home in Florida, right? Tell us more about that.
Well, this time I was talking about when I spend 2 months a year there, that was that was over 20 years ago. Right? So,
You look very young, Jose. I can't
yeah,
believe.
well, next month I'll be 84. So,
Wow.
but I feel good. So life is good for me. I have no complaints. Um, Florida is nice.
Excellent, Jose. So I'm guessing there's not that many French speakers where you are at.
But actually, they're coming because just recently I've noticed that a lot of Haitians are here.
Oh, good.
They speak French, but they speak French with a sort of patois, and
Ouais,
it's a little
yeah,
different, but
ouais.
it's good. It's the same basically. It
Excellent.
has that patois with it, and it makes it a little different because I think
Excellent.
there's a little Spanish mixed in it a little bit. I'm not sure, but it's a thing. It's good.
And you're probably getting some snowbirds from Canada, right? From Quebec?
Oh yeah, but not from so much from Quebec. They come from most of the snowbirds here come from the English speaking part of Canada. They come from more over towards Toronto
Oh, yes.
or in that area.
Wow.
There are some. There are some. And then whenever I see a license plate with a Quebec tag, I try to engage them in conversation
Wow.
if I'm able. Yeah.
Excellent. And so, Jose, since joining the Bonjour Brigitte program, do you think your French has improved?
Yes, it's no question it's improved. I'm looking for more improvement because I have been sort of remiss in making the classes.
Don't worry.
And I'm thinking to myself, everybody speaks differently. So
Yes.
you have to learn how people sound, regardless of their intonations and their little, um, you know,
Yes.
little
Well,
set.
don't worry, Jose. Don't worry. We're gonna get you speaking French even more in 2024. It's gonna be wonderful. Wonderful. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Excellent. Then I guess one last question, Jose. If people are on the fence, maybe they never learned, because you had a French background, but for some people who never learned French before, but they're excited about it, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that French, because the rules are fairly constant, is probably an easier language to learn than English. Uh, the rules in French are more constant than the rules in English. I
Yeah.
mean, every day there's always some things that are against that break the rule, but
Yes.
in French, once you understand, my thought about French for years, even when I was in high school, was I took German in high school, by the way,
Wow.
and I didn't take French because whenever I looked at French, I was a kid then, but
Mm.
whenever I looked at it, it looked like there's so many letters that are not used. I mean, this word is 8 letters long, but the
Wow.
pronunciation is like two vowels. Like, and I thought, I don't want to do that. And German is very close to English, by the way. And German, if it is spelled that way, that's how it's pronounced in German.
Really?
Yeah, if what you see spelled, that's the pronunciation. That's just how they are, it seems.
Wow. Wow. Well, excellent, Jose. Merci beaucoup. That was wonderful.